If you're out here saying things like this,
Foundation is gonna fail because there's no Commander products. Can't believe how much power they're just pumping into Standard. You printed a bunch of new legendary creatures and Commander staples. This isn't really about Standard, it's secretly a Commander reprint set.
then stop right there because you have Foundations completely wrong. Foundations is bringing huge benefits to the community for both new players and old players alike. We are getting consistent reprints, which we've been begging for a long time. We're getting increased access for newcomers. The creation of a baseline of cards for game designers to design around, and a new look at older mechanics with brand new faces. If you're an older player and everything I just said sounds familiar, you're probably thinking,
oh, this sounds like something we've had before, right?
well, you would be right. Foundations is the next iteration of a core set. The last one was printed back in 2021, and since then we've been very reliant on what's been printed set to set, leading to fluctuations for availability and strategies and staples. Take, for example, ninjas. I'm still stuck with 3 other really playable ninjas in standard for my Kaido deck, so Wizards of the Coast, if you would be so kind just to print up a couple extra ninjas for that deck perfectly in Dimir, that'd be great. But it's kind of like the point of this entire comment, that without a core set or a baseline, certain archetypes or themes and things that you enjoy could get left behind. And I'm not saying that a core set fixes that necessarily, but it provides a very nice baseline what to expect to build around for the next 4 or 5 years or something like that. One of the biggest complaints is that cards aren't seeing enough consistent reprints. Consistent reprints are great for players. They keep the prices low on staples and make them accessible to everyone. For example, Doubling Season is a big card in Commander, but it sits at $40, which makes it really hard to justify for a lot of people's decks, especially if you're on a budget. With Foundations, there are 3 different prints. Granted, one of them is a sparkly version, so that one's going to be pretty rare, but there are 3 nonetheless. We're getting more Doubling Seasons. So hopefully the increased supply will bring the price down, and this is the same for quite a few other reprints coming in Foundations. Lower prices mean more players can enjoy building decks that they want without breaking the bank. The low price point is great for new players. Plus, they are getting some solid products for this set. You get an instant collection with a bunch of classics and staples for quite a few formats in the starter collection for around $60. I'll correct myself up here if that's not the case, but I believe it's about 60 bucks. My only comment about the starter section is it seems very singleton. For a standard set, I was hoping for more duplicates to help new players build consistent decks in the standard, but there are some. So at least they can run some duplicates out of the box. However, if we're accounting for the fact that there is a Soul Ring, there is a Command Tower, and there is an Arcane Signet in the box, I'd also say this gives the player the ability to build for both Standard and Commander in kind of the best of both worlds. Following that, the beginner box offers a starting point to learn the game. You get board game playmats, you get some spin down dice, you get info guides to help you get going and learning the game, and in the box you get these jumpstart packs, which allow you to grab 2 of them, shuffle them together, and just start playing the game. So you don't have to worry about learning the nuances of deck building yet. You can get the basics down, start playing with your friends, and you get enough for at least a few games. For you older players or haters, whichever you are, Foundations is going to be the baseline for cards over the next few years. What does that mean? When card designers are looking at the cards in the upcoming set, they now have a nice reference point within Standard that they can design around. Let's say we're looking at Zombify, 3 generic mana, 1 black mana, to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is the baseline for the upcoming sets in the future. Designers can scale it up by adding a set-specific mechanic and make it a little cheaper, or they can go more expensive by adding an additional payoff. By having these references, we can create a nice range around the card effects, which leads to a more stable and consistent gameplay environment. It also helps prevent power creeps and keeps the game more balanced for a long period of time. And if a new card is made crazy expensive because it's super popular, you can always fall back on the middle ground, which is going to be the old faithful Zombify. Building on this, new legendary faces have been made that hold the very on-theme guild effects. This offers commander players access to some new faces, but also exposes new players to some solid, I hesitate to say basic, but very on-theme style commanders to allow you to build a nice straightforward deck. For example, if you're interested in playing a life gain deck, there's always a legendary creature that synergizes perfectly with that strategy, and even if you aren't a new player, these commanders can still be leveled up with brewing and offering powerful cards and stuff like that to give you the depth that you want when it comes to being an experienced player. Leaving the legendaries aside, we also get some brand new staples that are going to be easy includes in a lot of decks, specifically Blasphemous Edict, which is kind of like the highlight card for me right now. It is a forced sacrifice that could be down to 1 mana. And if you're looking at Commander, 13 creatures on board is pretty easy to do. In just 1 mana, you force your opponent to sack 13 creatures. Hey, I don't think you can ask for much more than that. It's a nice alteration to Blasphemous Act. Not only that, we're getting some nice Anthem effects. With Bloomburrow, we saw a lot of synergies for typal decks and stuff like that, so giving them a boost with some plus ones and other types of synergies is going to be very nice for Standard. Not only that, we're getting some other answers for various other effects. We got some more board wipes, we got some more targeted removal, we got some more big bad creatures that are coming to the set that are probably going to be some serious threats in terms of both Commander and in Standard. So, all in all, I think they kind of hit it out of the park in Foundations, and I'm going to stick with that. If you don't like Foundations, that's on you. But if you're looking to see what like actually is inside of these packs, I've opened a couple boxes already, so head over to the page, check those out, or it's right here. If you just want to stay up to date, click the subscribe button, and we'll keep you up to date. So with that, I hope you enjoyed it. Dojo out.